What's going on, beautiful people of the internet? I am the AI Whisperer, and in this video, I will teach you how to generate incredible animations like this and like this. So if you want to learn how to generate beautiful art using advanced AI, stay tuned because I will teach you how to do this step by step and all for free. Now, before we actually start making some sick ass animations, I just want to teach you how this stuff works, okay? So there's this research company called OpenAI, and what they did is they trained this neural network on the entire internet, and this neural network learned to connect language with images. And so you can pass in any sentence and this neural network will generate an image based off that sentence. So you could say things like, make me a fantasy world, and it's going to make you a fantasy world image. Or you can say things like, show me the center of the universe, or what's the meaning of life, and it's going to generate an image based off that sentence. So very cool, but engineers have created this technique on top of this algorithm where you can traverse into the image or go to the right of the image, the left, the up, down, and all sorts of things, okay? And for me, the way I remember the ways of traversing into these images is with this little technique here. So if you put your hand out like this, and then put your middle finger out like that, what you'll create is this X, Y, Z coordinate plane, okay? And this is important because this will allow you to traverse into the image properly. And so you can go on the X-axis here to go to the right. You can use it also to go to the left. You can go on the Y-axis to go up and go down. And then you can also do the Z-axis to go into the image or go out of the image, okay? So this little trick here is gonna help you in traversing into the image. I like it because you can just use it right now. Anyone can do it, I hope. But yeah, so now that we know that, what we can do is we can start making some cool ass animations. All right, so let's make some cool animations using advanced AI. Now, the first thing you need to do is click the link in the description, and that's going to send you to this Google Colab notebook. And if you don't know what Google Colab is, it's really just a website that allows you to run Python in the web browser. So you can do this on your phone, on your tablet, or any computer that you want. And the beautiful thing is that you don't have to install anything, and they give you a free GPU on top of that so that you can generate animations or images a lot faster. So that's a really good thing about Google Colab, okay? So once you click that link, you'll be sent to this notebook here. And you'll notice that it's called AI Animating Beginner Notebook. So there is an intermediate notebook, but for now I want you to just use this one because I made it very simple for you to use, right? So the first thing you need to do is just hover over this first code block and press the play button. And what that's going to do is download all the models and all of the required Python packages in order to make this AI animator neural network, okay? So yeah, so that's required. But once that's done, we can head on over to step 2. It will take about 5 minutes. But let's look at step 2 while that's doing its thing. So in step 2, this is where we pass in all the parameters for our model. So you'll notice that we can pass in the width and the height, and that just has to do with the dimensions of our animation. I also added the TikTok resolution, so if you wanted to post it on TikTok, I know TikTok loves this shit, so yeah. And you also have square resolution, so if you want to make an NFT or post it on Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, awesome. The next thing I want to show you is the max frames. So the max frames is how many frames you'll have in your animation. Now, it's worth keeping in mind that about 12 frames is 1 second of animating, okay? So it's 12 frames per second. And yeah, and so we'll generate every single frame with this AI, and then we're just going to append or put together all those frames together to create an animation. So that's sort of how it works. And the AI is going to generate all those images for us. So that's very cool. It's automating animation. I think it's beautiful. Others might not. Some might find it scary. I think it's beautiful. But yeah, so we have this first section here, and then we have this second section here where we pass in the more important things for our animation. So we can pass in the sentence that we want the neural network to generate based off of. So we can say fantasy world in Unreal Engine. We can also pass in the angle here. Right now it's 0, as you may see here. The zoom, which is that Z-axis, which is 1, so that's the default value, so it's not zooming at all. Same with the angle, we're not changing the angle, we're not rotating it by anything, and as well for the translation. So these are the default values. These are the values for doing nothing in your animation. Okay, so just keep that in mind. But let's put a sentence, right? So the sentence I'm going to put is going to be this. So it will be Museum of Magic. Oh, did I spell museum? Museum of Magic. Matte painting by Isaac Nimkamp. So this is the sentence that I'm going to pass in, the Museum of Magic. I think it's cool. And then I added on a couple keywords. Now, if you want to learn more about these sentences, I do have a Discord channel full of generative artists, and we share a bunch of cool sentences that you can pass in and make some very cool images off of. I also have another YouTube channel, another YouTube video where I teach you how to generate these 2D images. And this is the exact same technologies that except now we're traversing into those 2D images. So definitely check that out if you want to learn more about the engineering of making cool sentences, okay? Now, the sentence here, I did get inspiration from someone in the Discord channel called @Gita. So definitely check him out. He's Gita. He's a cool guy. But yeah, so what we can do now is we can start making an animation. So here I have passed in this sentence of Museum of Magic, and it's going to make something like that. I also passed in matte painting to get a very nice style. So keywords create specific style. So you can say things like by Bob Ross and create a Bob Ross painting. And then I said this Isaac Nimkamp. He's an artist. I like his art. So that's the text that we're going to pass in. We're also going to do a little shift on the angle, right? So we're going to rotate. So I'm going to do an angle of 2, which is just going to give us a nice, very slow and subtle rotation. The next thing we're going to do is zoom out. So we're going to zoom out and rotate. And we're just going to do this a constant, okay? So throughout the whole animation, we're just going to have a constant zoom out and rotation, okay? So in order to zoom out, any value below 1 is zooming out, and any value above 1 is zooming in. Okay, so keep that in mind. I think a good speed of zooming out is 0.95. I highly recommend this number, but do experiment. And it's the same for zooming in. I would say 1.05 is a good number. So for the zooming, go by 0.5s. Okay. And then translation, we're not going to do a translation yet, but in the next one we will. But very cool. So now what we need to do is run this code block. But I want to show you something. So hopefully I get an error. Okay, that's not the error I wanted. So what you need to do is always run these two code blocks with each other. So when you run, when you change something here, make sure you run the code block above. So I'm going to run this one. Now, let's say I change something real quick. I'm going to rerun it. And I just want to show you this error. I can't reproduce it. I don't know why it's not showing. Let's see, maybe I can. Okay, so if I change the value here, oh, it's not working. Okay, I'm trying to reproduce this error, but I think I'll show you in a bit. So now that everything's set up, now that we have the values for our animation, all we need to do is just run the AI, and what it's going to do is it's going to make an animation for us based off those values. Now, you may notice that we have this weird syntax here of the 0 colon. We're going to talk about that, but that's just saying like at this frame, so that's a keyframe, right? At this frame, do this. And so right now what we're saying is at frame 0, put an angle of 2, and at frame 0, put a zoom of 0.95, which is zooming out. Now you can say like at frame 20, do nothing. So until frame 20, do nothing, but then after frame 20, start doing a zoom out, and then at frame 40, can you stop and then go up and then do like a little flying animation, then stop and then twist. So you can really get creative with this with keyframes and even without keyframes. But the thing now is you just have to let it run. It will take some time, which is kind of unfortunate. For me, I do have Google Colab Pro Plus, so it does go a bit quicker for me. But you can see that we've generated this very nice scene already, just with the sentence. And now what we're going to do is we're going to traverse into this scene. At least we're going to zoom out into it. But yeah, so I'll see y'all once this is done generating. Alright, so here I am at 105 iterations, and I think we've generated a very nice animation so far, okay? So we do have 100 iterations, so I think we'll have about 8 to 9 seconds of footage. And it's very cool, right? So here, in order to stop it, all we need to do is just scroll up on this space here and then press the stop button here. And it should stop. Sometimes it doesn't, just keep pressing it, but make sure you don't rerun this code block, okay? So once that's done, what we can do is we can head on over to step 4, right? I made it very easy, so you just have to run through the steps. That's what it is. So what we can do now is we can create the video, and this code block is just going to put all the frames together and create a very cool animation. So I'm just going to click the play button here, and it's going to create the video for us. Should happen pretty quickly. But while that's happening, I do want to show you this little trick here. So if you look on the left menu here, you'll see that you have a bunch of tabs. Okay, so the video's done, so I'm actually just going to run this next one. So we have this left menu here, and in this left menu, we have this folder icon. So press that open, and here you'll notice that this is where all the folders live for this project. You'll see that we have the clip model, which is that neural network that connected language with text. We also have this video.mp4, which is what was created with this code block here. So you can download this file here by pressing the 3 dots here and clicking download. You can also copy path, which is useful for times. So yeah, very cool. And as you can see, we have our video here. So let's press play and let's see what happens. So you can see that we've generated this very interesting landscape of the Museum of Magic. It looks very cool. It is a bit fast for me. So let's change that. So what we can do, so I don't know why I did that. We can click this 3 dots here and change the playback speed. So if you want to slow it down, you can do it like that. But I want to show you another thing that we can do. So I added this optional super slow-mo for smoothing movement code block. So we can just increase the quality of this footage, right? And make it presentable for an NFT or TikTok. I highly recommend this if you're going to post it, right? Because this is a very cool code block that's going to add so much to the animation. So all you need to do is run through this code. So we need to download the model, and then the next code block, that's where we actually run the model on our animation, and it's going to make a slow-mo of it. And you'll see it's going to make a very cool output. I always finalize my animations with this. So yeah, very cool. Now, sometimes you do get a memory error, and you'll notice that there's like this FFPEMEG or something like that. Something like that. If you do get that, what you need to do is go to the runtime tab here and then do a factory reset runtime. But before you do that, do make sure to download your model and then upload the model here by right-clicking on this empty space, upload it, and then uncomment this line of code here, and then put your path for your video here, and then you can just run it as normally. Now, if you do have any issues, check out the Discord. I'm often there helping people, and other people are also willing to help. So if you have trouble, definitely check out the Discord. People are willing to help. So yeah, so it seems like it's just finished, which is beautiful. So what we can do is we can press this play button to actually view the new video. And you'll see this video is a lot cooler. And again, if we refresh, so if I click this icon here, we'll have our slow-mo.mp4 video right here. So if you want to download it, but you can also download it using this code block here. Both work. So beautiful, beautiful. So it will take a moment. Okay, so it just finished, and as you notice, we did increase the length of the video because it slow-mos the video, right? It doubles it in length. So let's press play and let's see. So you can see here that we have a very nice detailed animation. It looks like, so we're traversing, so there's this person here traversing into this museum. There's a castle back here, so I guess that sort of is the magic. It kind of looks like Hogwarts. Seems like it was kind of glitched there. Sometimes it can be buggy again. But you can also do another trick on this, which I like to do. So if I click these 3 dots here and then go playback speed, what we can do is increase the speed of this slow-mo video. And you'll see, look at that. Beautiful, incredible, right? Yeah, I think it's super cool. You know, that this can definitely be an NFT. This can definitely be, you know, it's a way of telling stories. You're telling a story through AI, and I think that's beautiful, because this really is a story. Sometimes you can get something very meaningful, like sorry, I'm just mind blown about this technology. But I really like this Isaac Nickamp keyword for animating. I like his style personally. But there, like again, there's so many keywords, there's so many unknown keywords. This is very new technology. We're only scratching the surface. If you want to learn more, check out the Discord. But I want to show you another really cool way of doing animating. So I'll see you in the next section. All right, so let's learn about keyframes now. So keyframes are a way of changing your values over the duration of your animation. So you can start with the text prompt of going through the library of magic and then ending off with the text prompt of, I don't know, the dark overlord taking over the world or something, you know? So you can definitely create these stories, sort of like Harry Potter. You can create these stories in your animations by changing values over time, right? So now I'm on the notebook here at the default state where we have, you know, the fantasy world and Unreal Engine. We have all of the default values, which won't do anything. It's just going to stay still in this image. So what if we wanted to change, you know, the zoom or the angle or the translation X? Well, this is how you would do it. So right now what it's saying is that at frame 0, set the angle to 0, okay? And it's doing this for all of them, and it's just gonna stay still. So in order to change it, what we can say is that, so from 0 to frame 20, we want it to be 0. We want the angle to be 0. And this is saying from 0 seconds to maybe like 1.5 seconds, don't do an angle. But after frame 20, what we want is the angle to go by 3. Now I'm going to go a bit higher just to show you how this stuff works, so you can really see how this works. So then so there's this other idea called interpolation. And what interpolation is that from frame 20 to frame 30, what's going to happen is that the 0 is going to slowly become 5. So at like frame 22, it's going to be 0, or it's going to be like 1, and then frame 24, it's going to be 2, and then frame 26, it's going to be 8, and then not 8, 5 or something. So it's going to this 0 is going to slowly become 5. And that's what interpolation is. And so you'll see that it slowly becomes at the angle of 5 and then just becomes the angle of 5. You'll see. I think experimenting is definitely the best way of doing this. But let's actually just tune this just a bit. So at frame 30 will be 5, but then at frame 40, I want it to be -5. And what's going to happen is that we're going to stay still in our animation, and then we're going to have an angle of 5, so it's going to go like this, and then it's going to stop, and then it's going to go the other way, okay? And then actually, I just want to say at 50, we'll do 0. Okay, so we'll stop at frame 50, but I also want to do a couple more things just to show you the idea of this, okay? And then for the translation Y, again, I want the translation of Y to be 0. Actually, let's say starting at frame 0, let's start with translation of 10, and then by frame 20, I actually want this translation to stop. And this is what it is, right? So what's going to happen is that we're going to create this animation that goes up until frame 20, and then we're going to do this rotation cycle, and then after that, the other way, and then we're going to stop. And then actually, let's go to frame 50. So at frame 50, I actually want the zoom to be 1 again, but after frame 50, I actually want it to go up, and I want to zoom in. So let's zoom in by 1.05. Okay, so this can get a bit complicated at times. I completely understand that. But I think practicing is definitely the best way to do this. And I hope you understand the intuition I'm bringing on here. And if you want to do keyframes for text prompts, definitely check out the intermediate notebook. I show you how to do that. I'm not going to talk about it here just because I don't want this video to be too long. But yeah, so what we can do now is we set all these keyframes, and I think it's best understood by practicing. But I do want to show you this quick error. So we just got this error that I'm sure you'll come across. So when you see this, just again, you have to run these 2 code blocks together or else it won't work. Okay, so that's how you solve that. Run these 2 together. Beautiful. So now that that's done, we can fire up the AI, right? We can fire up the AI with this animation, and I hope you understand what I just showed you and understand the intuition. Now I'm going to let this run. But while it runs, I just want to talk about this course, okay? So I have this course where I teach you how to become a generative artist master, okay? So if you want to learn how to generate music, language, and all sorts of different types of animations and art, definitely check it out. I keep it constantly up to date with the latest trends in AI so that you can learn the latest AI tools and you can apply them whether you want to make an NFT or make a new company. I teach you how to use these technologies. And yeah, I really teach you how to become a generative artist master. So check out the link in the description. I'm actually having a 50% off New Year's sale, so check it out. It's very limited, but yeah. So I'm going to let this AI run, and I'll see y'all once we have some results. Oh no! So I actually passed in the wrong sentence. So what I need to do is I'm actually going to change this to a sentence that I think you guys will like. So what I will say is, okay, so the sentence I'm passing in here is power of dreams in the clouds. And then I said a couple keywords here. So splashes of glowing colors and in Unreal Engine. Okay, so the real sentence here is power of dreams in the clouds. And then I added a couple keyframes to get added style to the images, okay? So here it is. And so again, I'm gonna click play and I'll get that error. So again, make sure you run them together. And boom. And then I'm going to run the AI. So yeah, I'll see y'all once it's done. All right, so here I am at iteration 75, and I think that's after our animation that we just created. So if we look back here, it looks like the last keyframe is at 65. So that is after our last animation. So that's beautiful. So what we can do now is we can stop this. But before I stop it, I just want to show you this little thing here. So in the output below each generated image, what we can see is all the parameters that we're currently on, right? So right now it says that we have an angle of 0, we have a zoom of 1.05, and we have a translation of -0, which is 0. And everything seems to be 0, so let's just make sure. Again, I just wanted to align. So here at 65, it seems as if we are keeping that constant 1.05, but every other parameter is supposed to be 0. So that's beautiful because that's exactly what we said, right? So what I can do now is I can stop it. And I just want to, again, sometimes it can be a bit slow. Just press it once, and then if it doesn't work, press it again. Just make sure you don't rerun it because you will lose this whole video, which I don't want to happen. So awesome. So again, let's just understand what kind of animation we just created. So we do have this first animation here where we go up on the y-axis, and then we stop at frame 20. And then from 0 to 50, so we don't zoom at all until we reach frame 50. That's when we start zooming in. And then for the angle, we don't do anything until frame 20. That's when we start doing that rotation. And then from 30 to 40, we start going the other way. And then at 50, we stop doing the rotation. So that's what the animation that we just created. And there's a lot of technique that we're doing here. So I hope you understand it. So what I can do is I can create a video, and we'll create a video out of this animation that we just created. And yeah, so very cool. I'm very excited. As you can see, we have very nice output, very nice colors. And that's what the splashes of colors keyword does for you, right? I really like it. I'm a huge fan. It's probably one of my favorite keywords, to be honest. I highly recommend it. You can do splashes of red, splashes of blue, splashes of purple. So you can get a color palette. I haven't tried if you've done splashes of colors of red, blue, and green. I wonder if it just does those colors. That's an interesting idea though. So let's play and let's see if it happens, right? So we start going up, okay? We do a rotation and then we rotate the other way and then we zoom in and then we do that constant zoom in. So it is a very short clip. So I always recommend going for as long as you can. I feel like I always stop it at the best parts. So make sure you don't feel like that. Because it sucks when you wait for so long and then you watch the animation and then next thing you know, like, oh my god, what would have happened next, right? I would have been interested in what happens if we just kept zooming in. But here, the good thing is that we learned some technique and we learned how these keyframes worked. Now, if you want to learn how keyframes worked with text prompts, check out the intermediate notebook. I just want this one to be as simple as possible that anyone can use. Now I won't use the super slow-mo. You can do it if you want. Let me just see. Maybe we'll get the error that I was talking about earlier. So if we do, I'll talk about it. But yeah, this is the conclusion of this video. So notice here, we did get this error here. So in order to fix that, what we need to do is download this video. Okay. I'll show you very quickly. Well, we have to download the video. And this error does pop up quite a bit, so unfortunately, you do have to do this. So you downloaded the video, that's great. And then what you need to do next is go to the runtime tab at the top here, and then do a factory reset runtime. That's going to restart the computer in the cloud. Exit out of the folder, reopen it, brand spanking new folder, and then you can, okay, sometimes you can drag and drop. This time you can't, so I'm just gonna upload a file real quick. Video. Okay, so I just uploaded the MP4 file to our Colab here. So what I can do now is I can uncomment this. You can uncomment by removing this hash symbol, and then you can copy the path and then paste it here. And then you have to download the model again because we did restart the whole computer. And yeah, once that's done, you can just run it and it should work, right? We just restarted the computer, we restarted all the memory. We now have some space to put this new neural network into our memory, so it's going to work. So that's beautiful. And that's where I'm going to conclude this video. I hope you learned a lot. I hope you, you build some really cool animations. Definitely check out the community of generative artists. We share a bunch of cool art that we've generated. I would love to see your art. So if you make anything really cool, definitely check it out and definitely share your art because we love seeing new art and new creations. So definitely check it out. And as you can see, it's working. So beautiful. So again, hope you learned a lot. I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe. It will help me a lot. Check out the course if you want to become a master generative artist. And there is a 50% off coupon going on for New Year's, so check it out, and I'll see y'all in the next video.